All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. It is Sunday, March the 31st, 2019, and we are here for our 59th show, 59, right? We have just finished up with the Roger Federer versus John Isner match at Indian Wells, and then yesterday we will catch up from yesterday's match that transpired between Karolina Pliskova and Ashleigh Barty, which was an interesting match in of itself. So we're going to get into both of those today to wrap up this entire month of tennis, which they call the Sunshine Double.
Yeah, it is two grueling tournaments because they take a month to finish, and they're playing on hard courts, which is tough, and it's hot. And you got a lot of good players in these tournaments.
Well, I think actually, I think it kind of ebbed and flowed with temperature at Indian Wells. I think Indian Wells, there were some cool and breezy days, and there was a couple that were kind of more dry and humid. And Miami's been, up and down, some rain, some clear skies, and I think today was a warm day on court. But both tournaments went well, but both of these tournaments take a lot out of a player. A full month of hard court tennis, and I think we had a really good two-week run in Indian Wells, and then again a 2-week run. I just combed the side of my head because I took a hat off, and I have your hair that's like wound into my ear. I was like searching for it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right, so we will place a link above that will enable you to click on. And it should say suggested videos. It should come across the top. If you wish to catch up on any of our 228, 230 some odd shows that are there, and there's a lot of just topic shows too. Well, we're not talking about just tournaments, but topics. What's wrong with this? Why do we do that? What's going on with this guy? What's going on with that young lady? So if you want to catch up on some shows while we're taking a couple of days to finish up a string test and play test for YTEX, which we'll do next week. Then you can do that there, but we will be jumping back into topic shows, etc., and the next week, and we'll touch on that at the end of the show. All right, so this is the last show for Miami, the Miami Open 2019, and it has been spectacular. I liked it a lot. The new venue was interesting. The stadium inside of a stadium, in a nutshell, I guess you could say.
Sure.
Pretty cool to see, but it's been a nonstop month with all of you. Appreciate all of you going along on this ride with us. But what I want to do is go ahead and jump right into the past 2 days, the past two finals, one that just finished, and then Barty from yesterday.
Sure.
Okay, so let's jump into the women's final. Barty wins her first big tournament.
Yep. Ashleigh Barty from Australia, the 22-year-old, who will now be ranked 9, defeated Karolina Pliskova from the Czech Republic 7-6, 6-3 for her biggest tournament in her career.
Hold on. Freeze everything. Freeze everything.
No, she will not win a Grand Slam. I already knew what you were going to say. No, I don't think she'll win a Grand Slam.
So why is it when this young girl, Andreescu, wins her first big tournament, everybody's like, oh man, stop everything. She's the next best thing ever.
Because Andreescu has more weapons than Barty.
But
honestly, she played a player that was flat and that pretty much gave up. And Pliskova was 27 years old. She had won a slam. It was a toss-up to me in this match. And she's a flat hitter, and I knew Barty was going to give her trouble with the slice.
I personally think Barty's better than Andreescu. I personally do. They both won a women's premier mandatory tournament, which is equivalent to a men's ATP 1000 or a Masters event. So let me get this straight. Andreescu can win a tournament. How is this possible? Andreescu can win a tournament, and everybody's like, stop everything. She's the next Serena. She's going to win. She's going to beat everybody. But then when Barty does it, no one says anything.
Barty's first round was Yavstrenska, the 18-year-old.
It's not her fault.
Second round was Stosur.
Who's a beast? Stosur's a beast. Seen her guns? She's got guns.
Oh, wow. You did not just say that.
It's not fair to Barty.
Then her next round was Bertens.
Solid player.
The toughest match she had was Kvitova.
A great player.
Kvitova that took her to 3 sets and choked, in my opinion.
How many majors has Kvitova won?
2.
Thank you.
Oh, and then a flat Pliskova.
Okay.
I think Andreescu had a much tougher.
Shoulda,
I'm not saying that, but she played a lot more quality players, in my opinion.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Again, good for her. She wins her biggest title. But she's 22, so maybe I'll be proven wrong. 22. I mean, that's not too far from 18.
No, number one, I'm not shocked that as soon as Barty won the tournament, and as soon as Andreescu won this tournament, there are...
No one said anything about Barty winning a slam. I have not seen that anywhere.
Why is that then, Carla? Why is that? Andreescu comes across, what is it? Because Andreescu is really built really strong and has kind of
Barty.
swagger on court.
No, Barty's built strong.
Is it because Andreescu wears like a choke collar around her elbow or something?
No.
I mean, what is it? Why is it?
Because she's 18. She brings a lot more into the women's game.
How old is Barty?
22.
Okay, so the 18-year-old gets dibs and the 22-year-old gets nada? I don't get that.
If Pliskova would have won, I would have said the same thing. I don't think she's winning a slam. I would have said the same thing.
This is a double standard here.
It's not a double standard. You can tell that Andreescu has a lot more time to improve, and she thinks different on the court. Barty is a smart player, but I think in a Grand Slam it would be tougher for her to win. And if those players like Serena or Azarenka are healthy and strong, maybe Sharapova come back. Who knows? Muguruza maybe will get in her head that she can win. Even if she faced maybe the mummy Venus, she would have a hard time winning a Grand Slam.
Forget about all that.
I mean,
you just pitched me an out pattern when I was running a post.
No,
wait a minute.
Well, you should do a poll question. Do a poll question.
I'll do a poll question in a minute. All I'm trying to figure out is why is it? Why is it that Andreescu wins Indian Wells? Oh my goodness, she's going to win 27 majors and she's going to beat Margaret Court's record and she's going to...
Nobody said that.
I'm exaggerating.
Did anybody say that?
Well, I'm exaggerating, but everybody wanted to assume that she would win majors, right? We talked about it on the show.
She has better weapons.
So Barty comes in and beats the likes of Kvitova, beats the likes of a very talented Pliskova in the final.
Very talented. That's your opinion.
And she wins the same level tournament.
First of all,
why is Andreescu's win so much better?
Wait a minute.
Why?
Sue beat Pliskova.
So?
The two-hander beat Pliskova.
But
Pliskova
won the match here. She won the match here.
Let's look at her.
I mean, we just watched Pliskova play in the final. How could a Sue Shea beat her? I mean, what is it?
Let's see.
Lucky loser going into the final?
She played Petra Martic. Then she played Cornet. Then she played Putintseva. Then she played Vondrousova. Then she played Halep, who is a mental case. We got to the final.
Wasn't there a potty mouth Putintseva in there?
Yeah, but what has Putintseva really done?
But her mouth is Excelsior. It's way up there. Sometimes her mouth can just beat you, and she don't even have to hit a ball. Potty mouth Putintseva. She can really get down and dirty with that mouth. It'll throw you off.
We have to congratulate Barty. I mean, she did great. Winning her, that's tough to do, to win a big tournament like that.
It is definitely not fair, though. And not cool.
It's not that it's not fair.
If Barty doesn't get some props for being a really lights-out dynamic player.
She's number 9, yes.
And then everybody does it for Andreescu. That's what I'm saying.
Nobody's saying she's not a lights-out player. What you're asking, is she going to win a slam? If Wozniacki would have won this tournament, I would have told you, no, she's not going to win another slam.
All right. Okay. Here we go. Poll question then. We'll poll question this and let all of you answer this, okay? Now, first, let me go ahead and put the context out here real quickly. We've had 3 or 4, maybe 5 different men's major or Grand Slam champions in the past a long time, like 15, 17 years. The likes of maybe a one Del Potro, 2 Wawrinka, and a Murray or a
3 Wawrinka, 3
see what I'm saying? Okay, we get the drift. Yeah. On the women's side, there's like a different one every tournament.
Yeah.
Less Osaka the past 2, right?
Less Serena when she was in shape.
Enough said. So I get it's easier. I'm not going to say easier. Let me scratch that.
No, it's
wrong
not
word.
easier.
It's more, we can expect there to be a different
because they're not consistent.
Okay, so here's the question. When we did the Andreescu poll question from the day 1 after she won Indian Wells, and we said, would Andreescu win a major? It was like 100% yes. Actually, I think it was like 90%.
100% yes. Okay.
Here comes Ashleigh Barty. Same type of tournament, exact same level players, a same global stage. Barty wins it. Mm-hmm. Poll question then. Let's see who you like better, because obviously if it's not 100%, no one likes Barty as much as they do that little choke collar wearing on her arm, Andreescu. Okay, anyway.
It's amazing that he was impressed by her a few weeks ago and kept talking.
I'm not saying I'm not impressed with her now. I'm saying it's not fair. It's not cool.
It's not that
it doesn't show depth of the tennis mind to state that Andreescu is inevitably has a 100% chance of winning a major because she just won Indian Wells. And then two, to jump in here and say that Barty doesn't have a 100% chance. If you give it to her, you got to give it to Barty too. Okay,
the reason I'm saying that
I would pick Barty to beat Andreescu if they met head to head. I would pick it. I wonder, have they played before? I
don't know. The reason I say that, Justin, is because Barty came out just like Andreescu did, was better in doubles, left the game because she was frustrated by tennis. Okay, burned out.
And played great cricket.
Played cricket and then came back to it. Well, Andreescu's she's 18. She's starting in a positive way. And she's been a champion as a junior, so I see a lot better future for her. And maybe I'm wrong, but the women's tennis is inconsistent, so you never know.
Poll question. We're going to leave the answer up to you guys. Poll question. Here we go. Does Ashleigh Barty win a major? Yes or no? And that's at 11:20. All right, 11:20. Does Ashleigh Barty win a major?
All right.
And if it's not 100%, before you answer it, look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? If I answered this question about Andreescu, why is it really that I'm saying no for her and yes for Andreescu? I find that Barty has more variety in my opinion. Yeah, Andreescu has a great drop shot. Well, we'll drop whatever.
I'm not talking about drop shot. She has weapons on both sides, and she can take off the pace.
I think Barty has a better shot at winning a major than Andreescu. I just
doubles,
do.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm still fairly puzzled though, with Pliskova, and I know she said I shouldn't be. She should have won a major a long time ago. I like Pliskova a lot less some of her post-match interviews where she tends to come up with these valiant excuses on why she loses. Oh, they played so great. They'll never be able to play like that again. Ultimately, to get them or get beaten again the next final. And then that person played so great. I like Pliskova regardless of that. I thought Pliskova would win this match. I thought she would win it in straight sets, and she lost it in straight sets. Okay? I did.
Yeah, I thought on paper I said she should have won, but to me it was a toss-up. It was just a toss-up because I know how she is mentally. Sometimes she just checks out. If she'll just check out.
See, I don't think she checked out. I don't think she checked out in this
Serena
match.
pretty much said, here you go. I rolled my ankle, whatever I did, and here you go. But she gave up. I watched that second set, and you should have seen some of the points.
Well, I agree with you, but I don't think that Pliskova checked out of this match. I think she played, and she was ultimately
in the second
beaten.
set she did.
And that's what I'm saying. You have this Ashleigh Barty, a fine athlete, in my opinion, that beats Pliskova handily in straight sets, okay? And no one brings her up like they did for Andreescu about winning a major, maybe. I'm just saying it's quite suspect, in my opinion. What is it? Because she's not as...
Well, maybe because she played Angelique Kerber, who's a three-time Grand Slam champion.
I mean, what is it? Looks? Is it core?
It has nothing to do
with looks. What is it? I'm just curious. Why is it, though? It's suspect.
I'm telling you, she played Kerber, who was a three-time Grand Slam champion, and she handled her really well. That's why.
All right. Well, whatever you think's best. Unfortunately, for your opinion,
I'm sure that a lot of viewers will agree with me, and you'll see.
I think Barty's the better player.
Okay. Women's doubles, they have not played yet. They will play later on. Samantha Stosur from Australia and Shuai Zhang from China will play against Elise Mertens from Belgium and Arina Sabalenka from Belarus. Elise Mertens and Sabalenka are trying to complete the Sunshine doubles since they won Indian Wells.
Quite an impressive feat, too, with Sabalenka. I mean, again, I think it wasn't at last round that Sabalenka met up with Azarenka against one another in doubles, I think. Azarenka was playing with Barty.
Barty, yes, and they lost.
Yeah. But for Sabalenka to be primarily a singles player, to kind of dive off into doubles, Indian Wells, win a title there, travel cross country, I guess that has nothing... No. Compared to global travel, but traveling East Coast to West Coast or West Coast to East Coast of the United States and pulling off potentially a Sunshine double is quite incredible.
And they're going to have a tough team because didn't Samantha Stosur and Shuai Zhang win the Australian Open doubles?
They did. I think
that's going to be a tough match to win.
Yeah, because it was a topic, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone and everyone, but I think it was kind of a sham that after the Australian Open, not Victoria Azarenka, Samantha Stosur won the doubles with her country, and they didn't show her presentation. They didn't show the trophy. There was like they went on to, and this was I think even in the Australian news. And if anyone's in Australia, correct me if I'm wrong, but
it was not. It was not.
It was like the tennis match was going. Stosur just won it, and then it went off into like all the local programming in Australia, and they totally just forgot about Stosur's feat as a former U.S. Open champion that beat Serena in the final. If I'm incorrect, but now we're bringing up the past, and there's no sense of dwelling on the past. Let's move forward. But nonetheless, a great achievement by Sabalenka.
Yeah, they're gonna have a tough
and her partner here.
They're gonna have tough competitors
to move forward.
Yeah. All right, on to the men's double before we get to the singles. Bob Bryan and Mike Bryan, the twin brothers, the number 3 seed from the USA, defeated Stefanos Tsitsipas from Greece and Wesley Koolhof from Netherlands.
Koolhof.
7-5, 6-4. This was a great match to watch.
Koolhof.
A lot of fun points.
Yeah.
I was happy for the Bryan brothers because, as we know, Bob Bryan had a hip surgery, so he was unsure about his tennis career, came back with his brother and won. By the way, Bob Bryan has 118 doubles titles.
I think his brother has like 120.
His brother, Mike Bryan, has 123 doubles titles. Ooh. Bob Bryan has 16 double Grand Slams. That's 6 Australian, 2 French, 3 Wimbledons, and 5 U.S. Opens.
I think his brother has 18.
And 12 mixed doubles. His brother has 18 doubles.
2 with Jack Sock.
And 6 mixed slams. 6 Australian, 2 French, 4 Wimbledons, and 6 U.S. Open. These guys are 40 years old, by the way.
This is absolutely Hall of Fame type stuff.
And this is their 6th Miami Open, by the way.
It goes without saying. These guys on the doubles court, surely it has something to do with DNA and genetics here in terms of they are identical twins. And I want to say it was 2004, 2005 time frame. Maybe, yeah, I think 2004, 2005. I had a chance to meet these guys in Mobile with Marty Fish and Andy Roddick. And they were electric then, and they're still electric now. I mean, I don't even know how to put into words how many tournaments. I mean, we're all amazed that Federer has pulled off
these guys are the best.
And they've got 123 and 118 respectively.
Hall of Fame, definitely Hall of Fame,
16
right?
majors and 18 majors. One's a lefty, one's a righty. I mean, absolutely tremendous. And by the way, they were 0-3 in this tournament playing Melo and Kubat, who are, I think, the #1 in the world players now since Bob had the surgery, right? Mm-hmm. They finally beat him in this tournament, and that was a confidence builder moving forward. But these guys can continue to win majors and doubles for a long time to come. Yes, and it's quite impressive to watch them play.
Yes. Sorry, I was looking for
and by the way that these guys read volleys and their hand speeds to react, or as they react, it's very difficult in singles or anything in life to react to something that's coming at you from someone, say, for instance, from myself to the window in front of me, which is about 8 feet. You know, sometimes these guys at the net are like, boom, punching volleys down, and then 8 feet away, coming back at a good pace, they're like, boom, and they direct it. And then
doubles is actually very tough. I find doubles, I'm a singles player, and when I'm playing doubles, I find it difficult because it's a completely different game. Your mind has to change. You have to worry more about angles and not hitting to that person.
Yeah, and for me,
the court becomes a lot smaller.
Yeah, and you find your passing lanes in different places. Instead of going up the line so much or going cross court into the corner so much. It's almost like sometimes I'm looking for the proper gap in between the player at net or at the baseline to go in between them or up the middle of the court. So sometimes it feels like doubles. You're having to come up with not necessarily angles or off-court winners, but almost like up-court, middle-court placement. So it becomes a different strategy, but nonetheless, strategy or not, these guys that have won this amount of tournaments and majors is incredible.
Yeah. All right, on to your men's singles. Roger Federer, the #4 seed from Switzerland, defeated John Isner, your 7th seed from the USA, 6-1. 6-4 for his 101 title. And this is his 4th, right? 4th?
4th, yes.
4th Miami Open. And he's done 3 times he's done the Sunshine Doubles. And I think he made the final, so it would have been 4.
Yeah, I want to say I didn't write this down, so correct me if I'm wrong here, but I want to say that Roger Federer won Indian Wells and then into Miami when it was still, what was the previous venue's name?
It was in Key
Biscayne.
They've changed it.
It was Key Biscayne. I think it was the Sony Ericsson at some point.
Sony Ericsson,
anyway,
Lipton,
but I think Federer did it in 04 and 05, beating the likes of Nadal. I think they played for the first time in a hardcourt final there back in like 04, 05. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it was 04 or 05, and then he beat his coach, Lubicic.
Yeah, Lubicic. So that was, I think, 04, 05, and then he did it again the following year, like 05, 06, or maybe it was... Anyway, he did it 2 years in a row, and then did it again in 2017, by the way.
He beat Nadal.
Beat Nadal again there. This year, he made it to the Indian Wells final. As we just remember, he was up against TM and ultimately lost the match, unfortunately, and just won... Miami. So this guy, by the way, wait a minute, timeout. We got a prize giveaway.
Yeah.
We just sent to Poland a couple sets of string to Dead Saville, i.e. better known as Casper, that's Kacper, in Poland. Mm-hmm. When this prize giveaway came about, we pitched out the rules. Name the total amount of games in the men's final played, regardless who wins or loses, and the closest person to those games would win either a 5K tennis shirt like this one, okay, a YTEX shirt similar to this, depending on size and color that we have,
or more strings.
Or more strings. Not only did Casper win it and get close, but he nailed it exactly.
Yeah.
I came in second place. I guess 7-5, 6-1, and I missed it by 1 game.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Sir John.
No.
Oh, so he came close too. But he missed it by 2 games.
He missed it by 2 games.
Yeah.
So I was second. Sergey Jovanovic was third at 19. But Casper, i.e. Dead Saville, wins again. So make sure you get up with us and let us know. 5K tennis shirt again. Some of our YTEX sizes are limited in terms of medium, large, and so be it. Or strings. Let us know the same way you got up with Carla before. Do it again, and we'll make sure we get the second package headed to Poland, like we already have one en route now. Kind of like Christmas or like your birthday or something, but it's just the middle or end of March.
Right.
Let's go. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, but back into the Federer match. Let's look at Roger Federer right now at 37 years old. Footwork, incredible. Is it vintage Federer back in the 2004, 2005? No, but is it still better than most everyone at this point? Yes.
Yeah, he took away Isner's game completely. Knew where he was going, and took off the pace, which Isner hates. Slice, made him get under. I mean, he looked lost in the first set. Isner just looked completely lost, tired, didn't know what to do.
Yeah. Now, granted, this match ended with which you could tell was an injured Isner. Now, there's a lot of times that we, or anyone for that matter, can be watching any sport, and we can kind of tell when someone's given up and throws in the injury towel, and maybe it's a little fake or not. This was not.
He finished it.
You could tell when he was sitting down and the trainer was grabbing his foot. You could tell the way his body flinched when the trainer would touch something. You could tell it hurt him physically in his face. You can't fake that. Like if you touch something that hurts, and someone's like, "Hey, can you tell me if touch it and it actually hurts them?" They're kind of like, "Okay, yeah, that." You could see that in his body. So, but not in the first set though. So what I'm getting at is the second set was closer, and he was, visibly hurt. But the first set he was not, and Federer not only owned it, but dealt out. You call it French fry, fishing pole. Number one, a bagel cut in half.
You can't do a bagel cut.
Yeah, well, no. 0 and you cut a line down
there.
Stick, dealt him a stick, dealt him a racket handle. He ate him up on the first set. And again, the second set was close, but ultimately at the end, you could see that Isner had what looked like to me, and I know this was talked about, but I've had stress fractures in I think it's called the metatarsals, and I think that's in the hands, but the bones that are on top of the foot. Runners get it a lot when they're pounding on the ground so much, especially at his size. I know the feeling.
He was running a lot.
Of having the stress fractures and the upper bones. And any biology or anatomy or physiology specialist, the bones in the top of the foot, I didn't expect to go in this route or I'd have written it down. But when those bones get those stress fractures, it gets really quite painful to do anything, and there's not much you can do. That looked like what happened, and ultimately the match ended. Federer looks great. That's his 28th ATP 1000.
Yeah.
28. That's a lot.
28. So he's... What, we have Nadal who has 33, right?
I think
Djokovic who has 32.
Yes, you are correct.
So now Federer has 28.
Is it 28? Yeah, it is 28. It is 28. Yeah. Should have been 29 against TM and a couple other ones, but should have, could have, would have. It didn't happen. Too bad.
Too bad. But I mean, you can tell these guys are pretty good friends because they were talking to each other, and most of the times when Federer plays Djokovic, we don't see that at all.
Yeah,
and you guys can see that these guys respect each other and they genuinely like each other. Don't like Isner's game, but I like him as a person. You can tell he's a good guy. Not sure why Gibbelstad was there. Just does not fit in his box at all.
Yeah, I'm not.
It looks like an arrogant guy. I'm sorry. Yeah. It just doesn't fit the nice guy that Isner is.
We've talked about Gibbelstad before, and again, nothing personal. Don't know the guy, obviously, but something about the vibe that we have been around him before and around him, but not directly discussing anything personally. The TV appearances, the talking, we've been around that, and it's just it's kind of not a good vibe that you pick up. But again, who are we to say? But yeah, I don't really get the Gibbelstad-Isner pairing. But maybe someone.
It's not his coach, but it's someone that helps him.
Maybe
he thanked his coach, and his coach was really humble about it. Of course, Gibbelstad with his glasses, and just don't care for it.
Again,
but I mean, good speech by both. I think Isner said, "Oh, please don't retire anytime soon." And I mean, Federer is playing great. I mean, he looks fresh. He doesn't have injuries right now. Nadal's struggling. Djokovic, not sure what's going on with him. He looks fine. Do I think he'll win the French Open? No, but I think he'll win another slam. Has a chance to.
See, this is where you just mentioned the French Open, and again, let's just hold that thought for a second.
And I don't think Nadal will win it. I think we'll see somebody new. I'm expecting maybe a young Serbian player to win it, or somebody else.
Let's hold the thought on the French Open for a second, okay? We have seen. At the Australian Open, we had Djokovic win it. Since then, his health, conditioning, fitness overall, and the look of his Skeletor kind of face has been suspect. Nadal, we know, has pulled out with some injury, correct?
Yes.
We know Murray has just had a hip surgery. Hopefully he recovers from that. And I heard he's hitting against the wall now, and that's great as well. Out of those three that are suspect right now, it leaves you with the one that just won Miami and made it to the final of Indian Wells, and lost a suspect match, at the Australian Open, or coulda, shoulda, woulda won that one too. How can it be that Federer at this point right now, how can it be, if he is not at least in the discussion for a potential champion in 21st major at the French Open? How can it not be? That's like you saying, because as she says it, not me, not my words, she calls Venus Williams a mummy, right? I disagree. I'm not saying she's going to win the French Open, but she has to at least be in the discussion.
Oh, he's in the discussion, but there are much better clay players than Federer. That's a fact.
Who?
Man, you've got the whole European clan that's much better.
Okay, time out. I'm asking you a rapid fire question, and I want you to answer it right off the top rapidly. You wait, stop. Can you do this? Lock it in, pinky in. Stop. It's not funny. Let's be real here, okay? This isn't joke time. This is our last show. Let's see. We're not into giggles.
Okay, go for it.
All right, Miss Giggles.
Okay,
let's get right into this, Miss Giggles. You ready? All right, Miss Giggles. Thank you to come into Rapid Fire Show today, number 1. So, if there are, I'm not kidding. Let's see how good you can execute this mission.
Go for it.
Okay? You talking all that garbage? Back it up.
Man, I love Federer, but
I'm telling you,
wait a minute. Here we
go. Stop. We're not going to get anywhere. No one cares about us arguing. All right, you ready? Okay. Carla, can you please give me 5 players right now that are healthy and ready to go, that are better, hands down, than Roger Federer on clay?
You got Djiri. You got Bashvili.
What? Did you just say Djiri?
He has a good chance on clay.
Now you're searching in the dark. He's a good player, but come on, man. Even Sergey Jovanovic and anyone else in Serbia is not going to call that.
You got Bashvili. You got Tiem.
Tiem, okay, one. Keep coming.
You've got Bashvili that can beat him.
How?
You got Roberto Agut.
Are you
what? On clay? Are you serious?
Oh my gosh, I just got dumber after hearing that.
I'm sure that people will agree with me. Can Federer make it far in the French Open? Absolutely.
Timeout.
But he's beatable, just like Nadal is beatable on grass.
Let me ask myself a question. Justin, hey, how are you today? I'm doing fine.
You just don't want to hear it.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now the players that are better than Roger on clay, regardless of health. In other words, Djokovic.
Monfils can beat him on clay.
Oh my God.
Wawrinka can beat him on clay.
I would rather.
So you tell me Wawrinka can't beat him on clay?
I would rather have a conversation.
So Wawrinka can't beat him on clay.
He could. I'm not done with my list. I listed one, and you're already cutting me off with Wawrinka. Number one, Rafael Nadal. Sometimes I would rather talk to this robot than this thing over here.
You said healthy.
Robot.
Healthy,
robot.
You said.
Robot.
Nadal can beat him, of course. You said healthy. Healthy.
Can you catch
healthy. Nadal's not healthy. Djokovic can beat him. That's 2. Wawrinka can beat him. That's 3.
I'll give you those 3.
Tiem can beat him. That's 4.
Give me another one.
And all the other guys I mentioned. Bashvili, you don't think can do it? Roberto Agut can't do it again?
Okay. Okay.
Hey, let's even throw Cincinnati in there.
Okay. All right. Okay, look. Number one. Does anyone here...
Coric.
You just were knocking my courts the other day. Now you're saying he's better than Federer?
On clay is different.
Does anyone imagine that this statement will be heard at the French Open this year? Just in, Laszlo Giri, as she just indicated, just took out Roger Federer at the French Open.
Can happen.
I get it can happen, but I'm just saying, you're telling me that Giri
got the South American.
I asked her for a list of top 5 players that was better than Roger Federer on clay, and she busted out with Laszlo Giri. That's the last thing.
Hey, even the guy that you like, that
Albot
Fognini, that does the.
I don't like Fognini.
Has a good chance.
Fognini,
Just saying,
the beautiful.
It's clay. They know how to play it very well.
She lost his argument. Giri.
I'm sure that they'll agree with me. Just saying.
Come on. There's only 3 players. There's only 3 players on this planet, I think, right now on clay that I was going to say that I think would beat Federer at the French. Djokovic.
You said healthy, so I was giving you healthy.
Okay, well, healthy then he is the front runner because Wawrinka's not in his top form. Djokovic looks like Skeletor, and Nadal's not healthy. So that means Roger is the front runner. And if you're just common sense, it means that Roger Federer is the heavy favorite to win the French Open if Nadal can't go.
I hope he wins it. I'm not against Federer. I love Federer, so I'm just saying clay's different. It's like saying Tsitsipas can't beat Nadal on grass.
Poll question at 32 minutes and roughly 30 seconds. Can Roger Federer now win the French Open? Yes or no? And don't forget there is someone out there, Anis Zezou, that bet me that he would not. And if that happens, if Roger Federer...
Ooh, Anis, where are you?
If Roger Federer does win the French Open, then he will be involved in the show some way, shape, or form, doing something really quite spectacular. And if Roger Federer does not win the French Open, then I myself, personally, will do something, dress up like something, eat something, dump something. It'll be something. But we'll do that. But can Roger Federer win the French Open, i.e. Roland Garros? I think he can, and don't be shocked if he does.
Man, I love Federer. Seriously, it will be sad when he retires. It will be sad when all the 3 guys retires. But I see him playing a lot longer. His style of game, he can keep going for a while. He doesn't really grind too much. He didn't grind too much today.
He looked great.
He plays smart tennis. And most guys are like, ugh, and they're sliding with their ankles going. It's just, he doesn't look that way.
He handles his game with fluidity, with grace.
And that's tough to teach any junior.
He just, and he has a passion for the game. You can still see it. Everything on the court was informed today. A few kind of odd errors, but nonetheless, when you're up 6-1 and your opponent's visibly hurting, I think you can get away with a few odd errors. I think the statistics were incredible on Roger's service games. I think he won, correct me if I'm wrong, 32 of 35 service points. Imagine that. Basically, that's saying every game he held at love with the exception of maybe a 40-15, another 40-15, and another 40-15. or wherever the 3 points come out. It could have been one deuce game and the rest of them were at low. I'm just saying it was a barrage of magic, and for anyone to think that Roger Federer is Father Time at this point is just way off base.
Well, he looked just as good as Djokovic did at the Australian Open.
He looked just as good. Now, granted, there's an extra set or three at a major.
Yeah. But they both looked just as good as... I mean, if he were playing... I mean, he looked great on hard court, which I think is one of the toughest surfaces to win.
Yeah, the only reason Roger would not be a favorite at the French, in my opinion at this point, if health was alleviated, and that he in my opinion, is more healthy than all of the rest of the guys that are a threat to him,
right.
Is the ability of the clay to slow his game down a fraction of a second. That fraction of a second lets the dirt ballers dig in. But if he can find a way, to figure that out, to get the clay court game that is going to slow his game down a little bit, which will make him even with everybody else, if he can find that one little bit of oomph to get him back above even, I think he has a really good shot to win the French. Okay? I really do. I think he has a good shot, but unfortunately, his 1-2-3 game... serve plus 1, 2, 3, high risk game. It levels out on clay, but because of the health of all his other threats, I think that will give him even then a little added extra bump. Don't be surprised if Roger Federer comes away with his 21st major in Paris this year.
Those guys have time to get healthy, though. I mean, the French Open is not till May, so.
All right, let's do quick highlights of the tournament. I wrote this down and tell you about this. I just wrote it down. I'm going to say some quick highlights of the tournament on the women's side. Okay. And you tell me if I just wrote it down on the fly before we came in.
Okay.
Highlights on the women's side. The emergence of Andreescu, the Canadian, and the emergence of Ashleigh Barty, or Bianca Andreescu. Sorry, missed her first name. And Ashleigh Barty, the young Australian, shortly removed from tennis to be a cricketer. They both won their first big tournaments. Barty creeps into the top 10, and yet still no love for Barty in terms of being a great future champion, even though she's ranked higher and won the same type tournament. Just a highlight. All right. Hopefully we see more from Kontaveit after 7 years, 8 years in the pros at still a young 23.
Okay.
Hopefully more from Kontaveit, okay? Pliskova. Pliskova, yes. Hopefully she can get that one major. I think if Wozniacki can be one and done,
she should.
Or Anna Ivanovic, I think if she can be one and done, and the list goes on, I think she deserves to be her one and done.
She deserves a one, yeah.
If Muguruza can get one, let her get it.
If Sabatini could get one, she should get
one.
Let
her get it.
Yeah.
Don't let her, but hopefully she will get it.
Yeah.
Kvitova, Petra Kvitova, watch out for Kvitova. Having not, I had her going to the finals at both Indian Wells and here on my draws predictive. And she got nowhere. A quick recap, though, for this tournament, before this draw started, I had Djokovic playing Coric in the semis, Djokovic winning to head to a final against the winner of either Stanislas Wawrinka or Sasha Zverev, Alexander, with Wawrinka winning that, and then Djokovic winning it. You can see I did not come close.
No, I had a Kyrgios final against Wawrinka winning, and then I had Serena beating Pliskova in the semis, going to the finals, and Azarenka beating Sabalenka, going to the finals, Azarenka winning.
Yeah,
I was not close.
Yeah, I had Sabalenka to face Kvitova with Sabalenka winning. I was not close. Didn't happen. I had Sloane Stevens meeting Halep, and then Halep winning that with Sabalenka winning the tournament. So it was really a lopsided draw for both of us on both of these tournaments. So let's see what happens with Kvitova though at the majors. You have to watch out for Kvitova. I'm not saying on clay.
I hope clay won't be her tournament. I hope she wins Wimbledon. I really do. She deserves it.
Kasatkina, Ostapenko. Do they ever come out of the ruts? Do they ever come out? I like Kasatkina a lot. Not a huge Ostapenko fan just because of the attitude issues on court. But I like. I like Kasatkina. I hope she can get out of the.
I'm lost by that one.
Serena and Venus moving forward into the French Open. I don't have anything stellar predicted for either moving into the French. I do think Wimbledon will be a good show for both.
I agree.
But they're not favorites for me, either one of them. You can't count either one of them out. They're always in the conversation. They can't leave you shocked.
Well, Serena made the finals last year, right?
I don't recall. Oh, she wore the cat suit.
That's right. She made the finals.
So again, I don't expect. I mean, if Serena wins it, are we going to be shocked? No. But it's
not her best Grand Slam.
Fair enough. Halep, I expect to do well here just because of her style of play, but her body will be wearing down and it will start quickly, and I think it already has. Her grinding can only grind for so long unless you're Nadal Jr. in Halep's body. And she's proving to be that, but let's see what happens. Sloane Stephens, yikes. Come on. We got to do something. Maybe it's the chocolate milk, maybe not.
Maybe she should stop drinking chocolate milk. Maybe drink regular milk. I don't know. Maybe drink some juice. Who knows?
All right. Highlights of the men's side. Ashleigh Eliassine, the young Canadian player. Come to find out he had a heart surgery for a condition that you know about.
Yeah, he has the irregular heartbeat, which many of us deal with it. I deal with that. And he got surgery and he figured it out. So good for him. Really
good showing for this kid. Great court conduct. He was a little frazzled there at his last match. Who he played his last match?
Isner. And he had a chance in
the second set. A little frazzled there in the second set.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
He'll be fine.
To be expected. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Isner staying relevant, by the way. Good job for Isner. Hopefully this injury goes well. And the bones of the foot.
Yeah, he's not going to do much in clay. That's not his surface.
And it take that part of the foot takes a while to heal.
And that's fine because he can prepare for grass. I mean,
and it's normal for someone his size.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not abnormal. It's not normal, but it's not abnormal. So take care of that. I loved the way this speech ended at the end of this Isner-Federer match. It was really kind of a smiling moment for me listening to Isner make his initial speech, being the runner-up, where he looked at Roger and said, "Roger, please, you just can't ever retire. I guess you had to watch it, but if you can watch the match, you would have had to have listened to the match and watched it, kind of break down, and then listen to the speech afterwards to really kind of be there and be in the moment." But the speech I thought was really classy by Isner. It shows you the competitor he is and the gentleman that he is.
He's a gentleman for sure.
He wasn't shell-shocked by Federer. I think they played 7 times. Federer winning 5 of those 7.
Now 8. Yeah.
Now 8. Anyway, but it was really well done and really good spirited of both players in their speeches. Federer as well. So a great tournament start to finish. The emergence too on the men's side of Shapovalov, and I'm not going to say emergence. They've been around in Tiafoe, but they're getting and consistently getting a little bit deeper into these bigger tournaments.
That's good. That's good. I mean, because you want to see. I mean, these guys eventually going to retire, so you want to see someone, right?
Yeah,
be dominant there.
And again, I was going to mention Tsitsipas as a highlight, but we've highlighted him a lot. And again, until he de-spazzes a little bit, he's so spastic, and he's had some flashes. But I think more and more of the studious players, not saying Tsitsipas is not a studious player, but at some point the spastic game has to chill, so we can open up the court and think about what we're doing and become more, I think, in my opinion, a tactician. I'm not saying he's not.
Well, he's won, 2 titles? So he's won a couple.
He's won a couple, and we've gotten into this conversation before. We've been talking about Andreescu and Barty. They win a tournament. And
I don't think that she'll do much at the French Open, though.
Yeah,
I don't think her game suits the French Open.
I don't think Tsitsipas will do much at the French Open
I don't think so either.
Is all I'm getting at.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for the Miami Open, everyone. Quick speech. Federer, Isner gave speeches. Barty and who Barty played? Pliskova gave speeches. So our quick speech. Thanks so much to all of you. Really, we have a good time doing this show. We began this show just before Wimbledon, literally like the day before last year. So it hasn't even been a full year, and we're on show like 240 or something like that. They're all available here on our channel on a playlist that says 5K Tennis Discussion. Puts a playlist. I think it has all the videos in there. We've been trying to break them up into individual tournaments if you haven't seen that already. But unending appreciation to all of you. I think now, with especially a large part of you, we're always in communication, whether we have a video ongoing or not. We didn't do one yesterday, but we're chatting with all of you all day long, doing what we do, and it's been a real pleasure. So thanks so much to all of you. There are a lot of people behind the scenes that help us out here. Barbara Wharton here, tennis director on Dolphin Island. Tina, I think the last name's Bain. Her husband, Barbara's husband, Bear.
Yes.
We have some junior players that we help out and train that kind of stay involved. My father, her father, always helping out. My mother, all 5 of our kids. Everyone, again, much thanks to all of you. It's a real pleasure to do this. Big shout out to YTEX Strings at Ivor Savage, who is the president and owns the company. Again, he has nothing to do with, he is someone that, and his company have looked out for us for a very long time, long before Carla and I decided to sit down and film video. And he has been rather giving, as he has always have been, to give us certain things that we can give away to all you, is so we're not giving away everything that we have with 5 kids all the time. So he gets it. He appreciates us. And again, thanks so much to YTEX Strings, especially Ivor Savage, who we know personally. And they're not just a company. They're really trying to change the dynamic of tennis in terms of stringing to make it more personal and not just people picking and choosing, I don't like this, next deal. I think he's trying to cut that off before it gets to that point.
Right.
Thanks so much. So we will be taking a break. Carla and I, next week, we are finishing up a play test and string test for a YTEX string called Triangle Twisted. And that's going to occupy kind of our next week. Again, we have just completed the Sunshine Double ourselves. A whole month of shows, somewhere close to 50 in 2 weeks. So we're going to take a few days so we can catch up with our string test and play test with Triangle Twisted. Get that out. We hope to have this upcoming weekend. And then the following week, get back into some topic shows, etc.
Right.
So please, if you have any topics you want to discuss, starting, say, beginning, middle of next week, not this upcoming week, but the week after, let us know and look out for our YTEX Strings play test and string test this upcoming weekend. Any topics, put them in comments, talk to us. Until then, right here, no worries, we'll still see all the messages, and we will go back live with shows next week. Like our show, click like below, subscribe to our channel. Please share our videos, and as Carla always says,
adios.
Take care, guys. See you very, very soon.